For this week, we are trying to do this project on integrating our PHP environment with Google API and IPI API. I tried to do both of them, and I was having issues getting working this Google API. So I tried both my launching the page within my local environment. It still didn't work. I tried to activate the uploading to hosting the site to a free webhostapp.com. So the page momentarily opens and goes away. And when I try to troubleshoot, and it says API not active error, but actually I do have it activated already, and I'm not sure what are the steps I could take to resolve this key error. So every time I keep refreshing the page, it momentarily loads the map and then goes away, and it shows that the API is not active is what it says. I'll show you briefly. Let me see if I can bring up my Google console. Maybe I just closed it, sorry about that. So I'll try to switch to this PHP project that I have done again with integrating with IPI API. So here we try to get the IP address of the client and get the IP address and pass it to the API so that we can get his address location details. So here again I have done this locally. Again when I run this locally, it was running fine. It doesn't seem to be getting my IP address, so I have done two steps, the two-step process. In the second part, I'm passing a constant IP address for which it retrieves the location of this IP address. It also gathers these connection status, whether the message is received successful or failure, and it also gives the city. So here on the top part, we are actually getting the client IP address. When I launch it locally from my machine, when I host it on Apache, it doesn't seem to be working, and I tried to upload it to a free web hosting website. When I upload it, there I'm getting my actual IP address, but there is a connection timeout happening with IP API. So let me try to launch this page for a moment. So as we see, the page is refreshing here. So my page name is IP API client IP. So I have two things. One is the actual client IP. I'm able to get my IP address, which is my IP address, and this real IP is in case if I was using a proxy, or if the end user is using a proxy, it will try to get the IP address. So when I'm passing, there is a timeout that was happening. So let me show you my code briefly. So this is the Google API code that I have, and this is the code section that was giving me the error. And for this IP API client demo, I tried to use this function to actually get the IP address when I'm using a proxy. And this first line, for line number 5, gives the actual IP address of gets the IP address of the user. If there is any discrepancy, it will try to get the other IP. So, and when passing the details to the IP API, I was calling both the hostname based IP URL as well as the IP based URL to see why the timeout is happening. But in either case, I wasn't able to resolve the timeout that was happening in case of passing the actual client IP. But when I was passing the constant IP address, it was working every time, as we saw. So let me switch to that screen again for a moment. So as we see here, I'm hosting this on an actual website, and when for a constant IP, I mean, like, it doesn't seem to work when I host it on a website, but when I run this program locally, it seems to give me the address correctly for the static IP, but not for my client IP, because my client IP is coming up as 1 when I run it on a local host. Alright, that's it for this week. I think I have learned some good amount of PHP, Apache, and integrating with an API. This was a good experience. Thank you.